So as soon as I saw that, I said a little prayer before I answered, and I'm like, this is Paul. I want to give you a shout out because during the technical, I said plus or minus 10 minutes from when you get the alert,
Yeah.
and they were like, oh, is that because because I've used this product, and they're, oh, because you use that. I was like, no, I've been working with MyDFIR, and that's what he recommends.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's video. My name is Steven, and today we are joined by Paul, who, if you've seen the previous interview, you might be familiar with him. But if not, today he's going to be sharing his experience on how he landed a role in probably one of the biggest cybersecurity companies in the world. Before we go into the interview itself, for those that don't know you, Paul, can you share who you are and how long have you been a member of the MyDFIR SOC community?
Sure. So I'm Paul. I've been in the K-12 IT industry for almost 20 years now. So it was definitely a shock to get this position. But I would say for the MyDFIR, I've been a part of the community for almost 3 months now. So I think I'm coming up in like a couple weeks on 3 months. Other than that, yeah, K-12. Everything and anything under the sun. And over the last 5 years, I've been really focused on security and bringing that into our school district.
I'm kind of curious about your job application process. So how long were you applying to jobs before landing the offer?
It took me a while. So about a year ago, Huntress had a couple out and, just a scramble of, okay, let's get this, because it's been 20 years since I've had to apply for a job. So I'm very unaware of what's going on beyond my sides. I see what's on LinkedIn and, social media of, oh, it's hard out there and stuff. So a year ago, I tried, at Huntress before, it just got that instant autofill back. Oh, sorry, you're not a perfect fit for us kind of deal. So going into MyDFIR, in that previous interview, I said, I got an email from you. It just was the perfect timing because I was like, you know what? If I want to make this change, I really got to commit. So that's when I made that change. And then I'd probably say about 2 months in, that's when I finally okay, let me freshen up the resume. And that's what I followed your tip. But I think you have a little lab, or not a lab, a job preparation series in there. So I really went through that and started tailoring my resume. And it was a total revamp of my resume.
That's awesome.
And Gary Fisher, when he had his little session as well, that definitely helped as well, just to prepare myself.
So were you applying for hundreds of roles, or were you just selectively applying to roles?
Yes, I was selective to the area I live in, but granted, a lot of these are around our area, but their home bases are elsewhere. I was pretty selective, and it was only LinkedIn is what I was using. And then sometimes they had you go over to their website. So it'd be mainly LinkedIn, I'd see them. And then I'd usually go to their website to apply.
Could you share a little bit about the interview process itself? How many rounds did you go through?
On October 29th is when I sent my resume in, and later that day, I got the email saying, hey, we do a CTF assessment. And, I was coming off of the win for the first CTF, so that was fresh in my mind. So after that went well. The recruiter reached out saying, hey, let's connect, so they can just give me some rundown of everything. So after that, it was the technical interview. That went well. And then the manager interview, as well as reference checks. So that was outside of me. And then a background check after that, a thorough background, not clearance level, but a decent resume verify and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
I'd say it's
yeah.
CTF, recruiter, technical interview, manager, and then outside of me, there was a reference check.
Cool. So a technical assessment in the beginning,
Yeah.
and then 3 rounds of interviews, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Cool.
I didn't think I was going into it. I was like, I don't know if I could survive a gauntlet like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I talked to my dad. He's like, just embrace it. And that's what I did.
Exactly. And here you are.
I know.
You got it.
I
Yeah.
know. That was the
Yeah.
longest 4 or 5 weeks of my life, just waiting for the next step and waiting, especially once it got out of my hands. It was like,
Yeah.
okay, now I'm just waiting on them.
For the assessment itself, could you recall any kind of questions or anything like that?
So it was some of Linux using parsing. I forget the logs, but you just parsed them and had to count up. I forget how the user agent. So it's a list of however long, and you just use grep to find what you're targeting. So that way you can get the word count of that. And then there's some Windows event logs as well. I'm sure there was a better way to do it, but I at least knew, like, and they had the questions, but like, for remote desktop software, I'm like, well, it's an Excel. I'm sure that I could have thrown it into something else, but I just used Excel because I got it that day. And I was like, do I do it right now or do I wait? I was like, let's just jump in right now. So I was able to just target, just using what I know is, okay, I'm going to look for some kind of MSI or EXE file. And that's how I started the process. So log analysis, some PowerShell decoding. That one was pretty tough just because I haven't had to really do that before.
Was there a time limit for that
2
assessment?
hours.
2 hours.
2 hours. Oh,
Okay.
and then you had to do like a brief, like a description or case notes for that as well.
Like a report.
Yeah,
Try to translate your findings so people can understand it. Yeah. Nice. Hey, Excel is probably like one of the key tools that I use on a daily because, man, it comes in clutch. So it's a really good tool for log analysis. Yeah. When you were doing your interview, what stood out to you? Like, was there any kind of questions or technical scenarios that caught you off guard?
It's actually one of those basic Security Plus ones, and it was the Linux. The Windows is the netstat, and it's the, like, how do you see what network, the Linux side, and I forget already what it was. It's like LSFO or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's like that one. I was like, I knew how to find the IP address, but is that, so that one was just the simple one. But then the other is just the process tree and explaining my process of going through it. And I think one of our calls I talked about it is, as soon as I got that, it was Outlook and it was going out to the internet process. Then it next spawned a command prompt PowerShell. And then, that's probably likely a phishing attack. So it was more or less definitely knowing the process tree definitely helped me.
Yeah.
The process, the parent and child processes.
Out of my own curiosity, would you say that the MyDFIR SOC community played a huge role here?
100%, especially just getting me that interview, I believe, because the job prep. So, the resume, revamping that, definitely I tailored it. I use AI just to, make sure what I had and the experience I've done was tailored to it as much as possible, as well as updating, posting on LinkedIn and doing some of the, CTF posting about that, as well as the SOC automation being visible out there and working on my GitHub as well.
Would you think like the 90-day program and or the SOC simulator, would you think like that in itself also has helped you?
100%, yes. And especially, it's always interesting to go through. I think I'm on like day 75 or 4. And it's like, I could have used this earlier in my career or for certain things. So it's just building upon each day builds upon it. So it's like, oh, well, this is what I needed like a month and a half ago when I was working on something in the KQL or something like that. And then even after I land this job and start working in it, I'm definitely going to continue with the MyDFIR just for the community aspect, as well as the upcoming DFIR section as well. So yeah, I definitely, even though I landed the SOC role, it's not done because there's still a lot of work that, once it's a dedicated role, hopefully I should start grasping it a lot quicker because I don't have to worry about anything else. This is going to be my full-time job and I'm going to be in it daily, but keeping that repetitions up, finishing the 90 days, as well as being active in the community, I think, that's going to definitely be helpful.
I 100% agree. And I love to see your posts saying that you're learning something new, right? Because sometimes whenever I create these modules here, I always think like, oh man, am I being too easy here? Is it like, is this even something I should show? But hearing and looking at your post saying like, oh man, I didn't know this, or like, this is something new to me. It just, oh, thank you.
Well, it's like with the Yara stuff. I'm like, just from that single snippet of what you're showing us, it's like, I'm researching on the side saying, well, how am I going to apply this if I'm going to need to use it? Like, when do I use it? Because instantly in my head, I'm like, well, okay, with Velociraptor, I know you can use wildcards and start searching, but during my research is like, well, you're going to usually use this for like threat hunting as well as incident response. So it's not something you're going to be like, oh, I'm going to use Yara right now. It's okay. Yeah. So the Yara and looking at the dynamic analysis, that's definitely very, very eye-opening and a little nerve-wracking, so especially on the dynamic analysis.
It's like, should I execute this?
I know. Yeah. But I think it was like 3 days ago or 5 days ago. It's like one of my posts is like, I'm just not comfortable with it yet. And and here we are now. So it's just that's a scenario of, okay, just take it, you'll get there. Just slow down a little bit.
Absolutely. Let's take it back to when you got the job offer. I want to know what went through your head.
Oh, so, well, first off, that I had no clue when they were going to call, and that was after the references. So thankfully, my references would say, "Hey, I'm done," kind of deal. It looks positive. Everything was good. So it's like, okay, I know they're done. Now it's just, I think it was Thursday they were done, and then November 14th is when I got the call. But it's like just sitting there checking the phone, like, okay, come on. Oh, it's lit up. No, that's work. So as soon as I saw that, I said a little prayer before I answered, and I'm like, this is Paul. And then they're like, hey, everything checks out well and everything, and we'd definitely like to make an offer, and this is what. And then, yeah, I was like, yes.
Sign me up now.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's exciting, man. Like, and I know you mentioned that you talked to your wife about it. Does she know how big of a deal it is now?
I mean, this is the analogy I've been telling everybody at work is it's like a major league baseball team. You got your AAA. This company is almost number one in what they do, and I'm going to be on the starting team.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if that's overselling it or not.
Hey, I mean, I agree with you. They are quite a large player in this space.
Yeah.
Right. And you are in the forefront of everything pretty much.
Yeah.
And put in the reps, get to know everybody, really put in the work and communicate, and just be curious, man. Then just from there you're just gonna level up. I have two more questions for you. The first one is, if someone watching this is applying everywhere and they're not getting anywhere, they feel stuck, what's one thing that you would tell them to do differently based on what worked for you?
To me, I think that's the only one. I think I was like Florentine. That's the only one I got a response back that was, hey, yes, we're interested in you. Let's go. And all of it really started, even though the other ones I applied up to that point, I think there was like maybe 4 or 5 more I applied to, and I haven't heard anything back from them, is revamping my resume, keeping active on LinkedIn, and keeping up with GitHub as much as possible. Those three,
Yes.
I think, were 100% key in landing this job. And especially that resume. I tailored it to what they were asking for with what I have been doing. And thankfully, I did a lot over the last 5 years in my current job to build upon those, from systems hardening, VLANing, segmentation, seam stack. So, I mean, I've put in the work, it's paid off, and it's really nice to see that come to full fruition.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And for those that are listening in too, you don't really need to be employed to do that kind of stuff that what Paul was doing. Like, you can actually, spin up your own lab and start doing something similar. Start creating your own SIM, start ingesting stuff.
Yeah.
If you have a home switch or a home router, maybe try, spinning up your VLANs and configuring that and all that good stuff.
And that's where it all started for me was, I just download Wazoo, load that up, do some Atomic Red Team, and see what that looks like.
Exactly. Last question for you, Paul, is, looking back, is there anything you would wish you had done sooner or differently during your job search?
Revamping and putting more time into my resume.
Yeah.
Definitely. And then I'd also like to say, just during the process before each interview, I just, I think the most nervous one I was the technical, because that you don't know what they're going to ask. And I think that Monday, so it was a Tuesday, that Monday at work, I had the paid version of ChatGPT, and I was like, give me SOC Analyst questions, let me respond back, give me feedback. So I was less confident about speaking about it, because I know it's in my head and I can get it, but it was verbally explaining my process and, here's where I would start and these are the steps I would do. Mm-hmm. So, just keep practicing on everything as far as the technical interview. You can only know so much. What you know is what you know, but if you can at least practice talking it out verbally, that's going to be a huge game changer.
Yes, I agree. And to add on to that too, I remember in my first couple of interviews when I was applying for a SOC analyst role, like, I would search Reddit threads just to find some answers and try to memorize it. Yeah. But when it comes to showtime, it's like, man, I don't know what I'm saying. So you need to make sure that you practice it, right? Yes. Try not to memorize it. Try to understand what you're trying to say, right? And especially when it comes to the thought process, like you mentioned, it is very important to kind of play it inside of your head, right?
Mhm.
Like whenever you, for example, if you get an alert, try to break it down into steps that you can really talk about it and work through that process. That way, the hiring managers actually know that, hey, this person can actually understand what's happening,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
I want to give you a shout out because during the technical, I don't know, I said plus or minus 10 minutes from when you get the alert, that's,
Yeah.
and they were like, oh, is that because because I've used this product, and oh, because you use that. I was like, no, I've been working with MyDFIR, and that's what he recommends when you get the alert, do a plus or minus 10 minutes on your alert so you get some context and scope of it. That did shock them, and not shock them, but just like, oh, wow. Okay,
Yeah.
he knows this, that okay,
He knows
you're in
his
the
stuff.
middle when you get that alert, you're in the middle of it or towards the end of it, and yeah, start checking that plus and
Yeah.
minus.
Nice. That's awesome. I forgot, like you mentioned the name there. So wow. I'm thankful. Thank you. Well, that is it for today's interview. And Paul, thank you for jumping on and sharing your experience. For those that are listening in, don't give up. Keep applying, and what Paul has been mentioning, revamp your resume and make sure that it's tailored to the role that you're applying for. And do your LinkedIn and GitHub as well. Cool. Well, congratulations again, Paul. And I cannot wait for you to get started and share some of your stories with us.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Stephen.